our Greyhound Regional Vice President, and Miss Stephanie Hewitt, our Gary Public Transportation Board President.
I know it's.
I bet. Thank you. So good morning and welcome to a double celebration that we at Gary Public Transportation, along with the mighty Greater Gary, we are happy today to be able to announce the expansion of our new partner. And I say new only because we're going to do it a little differently. We're going to do some things that start as of today. And you take a look around and it looks great. And I thank my Greyhound partners for being ready. I thank my city for saying, what do you need? And that's all they asked me is, what do you need? And they came on full force. So with that, we're going to start with he who has made this day possible. Our Dr. Reverend David Nevels, would you read us in prayer?
Thank you, Denise. Good morning, and let us pray. Gracious God, we come boldly before your throne of grace and mercy and thank you for this day and all of the blessings that you have already provided. We thank you for the work and the ministry of the Gary Public Transportation Corporation. We thank you for all of the partners throughout our community and throughout this world. We ask, God, that you would work in us and work through us. Bless every presenter and help them to share what they would share this day. Help us to hear and to receive that which we need to hear and receive. And then, God, work in all of us to do that which we need to do, we pray. Amen. Once again, Denise Diller, the Interim General Manager of the Gary Public Transportation.
Thank you all very much. And I just want to say before we start, I didn't see. Okay, so I think we're just going to move forward. When Congressman Mervan gets here, we will certainly step and adjust. But we are going to try to stay on time, and we value your time. So thank you. Certainly, it takes a team. It takes a team. It takes a team. They talk about leadership a lot, but they don't talk sometimes about all the people that will come follow you, even if they're not sure you know what you're doing. So you are really appreciative, and I want to say thank you to my GPTC team, because indeed, we had to start from a lot of things that were just finding out. It's new for a lot of us. I thank you, my Gary team. This is your city, and this is our city, and we want it to be a representation of everything our mayor says, Greater Gary. From our first speaker, I'm going to ask our leader, the mayor, Eddie Melton, to come to the podium.
All right, good morning, everyone. To Ms. Diller, to the board members of GPTC, every single person that's here today. Today is an exciting day. She did welcome you to the city of Gary, welcome to Greater Gary, but also we already know Gary, Indiana is the crossroads to America. Can you agree to that? As we sit here and try to project our voices because of the traffic, which is a good thing, but we have both rail, we have both highway behind us, we have all modes of transportation within just a couple of mile radius at the core of our city in the city of Gary, Indiana. Just down the road, we have the Gary International Airport, Gary Chicago International Airport. I want to acknowledge that partnership. I also want to acknowledge the beautiful lakefront that we have in the city of Gary. All of these assets is just a component of what makes Gary one of the greatest cities in America. It has always been that way. and we're going to ensure that we get it closer and closer to that goal every single day. I want to thank all of our team from the City of Gary, from the Parks Department to General Services and my leadership team that helped to maintain this beautiful area, that's helping to make the improvements in the infrastructure and the facility at our train station. But today I want to spend just a moment to specifically thank Greyhound. I want to thank Greyhound for keeping Gary on their radar and giving us the opportunity to become a partner with you all. I believe this is just the beginning of expanding our relationship. When you look at a brand that's national like Greyhound, and to bring them and strengthen that relationship here at the City of Gary, at the core of the city, is going to mean so much. Throughout Northwest Indiana, throughout Northern Indiana, we're seeing an influx of infrastructure and job and growth opportunities. And a lot of that workforce that we're providing throughout the Northwest Indiana region live right here in Gary. A lot of those individuals that's getting to Maryville, Hobart, and other parts of this region live right here in Gary. So when we talk about expanding transportation, and we talk about getting individuals and moving people, we talk about growing an economy, we talk about the sustainability of a city such as Gary. So we want to thank Greyhound for making the investment to decide to grow their relationship with us as we move forward. Many of you already know a couple years ago we passed legislation, the Senate Bill 434, during my last term as last year as state senator. That investment is going to take place really, really soon. In just a few weeks, we're going to see some of the demolition that's going to take place at some of the most blighted structures in downtown Gary. So as people are coming to take a Greyhound or they're jumping on our South Shore, they'll feel safer. They'll see it cleaner and more secure city of Gary. So I want to thank the state of Indiana, the RDA, and many of our partners that's going to make that possible. But also in the future, as I work with our outgoing governor, I want to thank Governor Holcomb for his leadership. Pretty soon we're going to be seeing a brand new train station right here in Millennium Park. Gateway Park, we're not in Chicago. I caught myself, right? I said, Millennium Park, wait a minute, we're in Gateway Park. But in the future, we will see that investment because of Senate Bill 434, where the state will provide us matching funds to provide that new facility right here in the city of Gary, and so many other great opportunities. It's just been a little bit over 9 months that our administration has been in. We have 90 days until the end of this year. I'm not counting, but 90 days, and I'm just extremely excited about the work that we have ahead of us. And I'm extremely excited about our partnership. So again, thank you, Mrs. Dillard, to the board, and I want to thank Greyhound again for being here today and expanding and growing this relationship. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Mayor Melton. We're going to move to, Mr., I'm going to say this for Mr. Foddy, our regional Greyhound Vice President. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. It's a beautiful day here today, and I'm honored to be here today on behalf of Greyhound and our parent company, Flix North America, and our bus partners to announce our expansion here in the city of Gary and mark the 14th anniversary of Adam J. Benjamin Metro Center. Intercity buses are front and the center in providing affordable transportation, enhancing overall connectivity. With today's announcement, we are taking important steps to ensure that everyone in Gary has full and equal access to long-distance travel. The Midwest has always been a key focus for both Greyhound and FlixBus. With these expanded operations in Gary, we are not just growing our operations here, we are also embracing the incredible potential that this city has as a regional and national transportation hub. I want to take a moment to express a heartfelt gratitude to our partners in the city of Gary and GPTC. as well as all individuals and organizations across the community who helped today possible. A special thanks to Mayor Melton and his dedicated team who have demonstrated a shared commitment to intercity buses and the vital role they providing equitable access to transportation for all residents. Together, we are ensuring that everyone, regardless of their background and economic circumstances, has access to affordable and reliable travel options. Greyhound has recognized the importance of Adam J. Benjamin Metro Center and served it practically from the opening of the facility. It's almost 40 years. We at Flix North America look forward to our role in the next stage of the Metro Center's history. With this expansion, passengers from across the region will find it easier to access the entire Greyhound and Flix national network, whether they are traveling for work, education, business, medical care, tourism, or visiting family. The enhanced facilities and amenities here in Gary will elevate our passengers' travel experience, making each journey smoother, convenient, and more enjoyable. We are proud to be part of Gary's growth and to contribute to the city's ongoing efforts to provide top-tier solutions. We commend the city officials for investing the well-being of their community and its residents, fostering economic development and enhancing connectivity. Today isn't just about our expansion. It's a clear sign of our confidence in Gary's future and our shared belief in the importance of the accessible and equitable transportation for everybody in Gary. We look forward to continuing our strong partnership with the city and GPTC and serving the wonderful people of Gary for many years to come. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you very much. I'm going to keep moving forward, and if they should come in, Mr. Wright, make sure that Congressman Ravan, if he's coming in, or Lake County Commissioner Kyle Allen, but we're going to go moving forward. So let me talk for a minute just about those two people, because in them not being here, I would be remiss to not say that they have been huge supporters from the federal government standpoint. Frank Mervan has been not just a citizen here, but also a friend in Washington, D.C. There are many things that we've looked at. Transportation is one. I've had the pleasure of working in multiple industries. So from healthcare to transportation to working as a commissioner for the airport, it's been a phenomenal ride. We keep bumping into each other, looking at everything from EPA to how we can look at things from a commerce standpoint. And he has always been, regardless of other leadership, he has always been there saying, what can I do? What do you need? And this is how we get it done. And I think that that has been extremely helpful to many of us on the ground, because most of us out here are ground zero. We are trying to figure it out and get it done for the masses. So we continue to do that, and that is where Frank Mervan has always been, is working with the masses of people. So we continue to honor the fact that he is working with us. He and the mayor work well on a lot of different things and strategies, and we certainly plan to continue that with GPTC as a partner. Also, let me switch over to Mr. Kyle Allen, our Lake County Commissioner. Yes, I agree. Yes. And I tell you why he gets a little bit more, not more, but we want to show appreciation, especially in the fact that he's not present. You know, one of the things that hampers cities like this from doing things is money. Somebody can give you a lot of money, and then they use that very statement that makes you cringe. Do you have the match? And we go, okay. And we all know what that means. It means that if you can have $80 million, and if you don't have a match, you can't spend a dime of it. You can't spend a dime. So in our case, GPTC, we aren't funded through the city. We are funded through a federal calculation through the Transportation Association. Administration. And in that, we have a certain amount that is given, and we've got to get the match money. And one of the things that happens is that even in big companies, that becomes difficult, particularly if you have an economy that is wavering. We have been very blessed because we have Lake County commissioners that have been agreeing to continue to work with us. And it was through the Lake County Council, Charlie Brown, and the late Corus Lay, who when I first sat down with them, I said, I need help. We need help. Curtis Whitaker joined me as we went over the numbers, as we talked about the projection for Gary to move further. In doing that, we came up with a right number to do business. And the council, immediately on the first read, we got the vote. Who knew? Okay, who knew? The next thing we got was to the commissioner's office, and it went through, and the next thing we got was the call. Who knew? Right? But that was our first over $1 million contribution from the county. And that was huge for us. That was huge. Awesome. Okay. And so we wanted to make sure that we gave that kind of shout out because he was the first, but certainly not the last. The City of Gary has already approved the finance piece as well. They will continue to move forward on that. We were granted that on Tuesday. Thank you very much, City Council. I know our Madam President was going to be here. She's gotten tied up. We certainly understand that. If you see Ty Atkins come in, let her know, because we are appreciative to the council for certainly having several meetings with them one-on-one to say this is what we're trying to do. So I want to make sure that we again acknowledge all of our existing partners who you may not see them. It's not going to be maybe sexy to do a real press release or an article, but they are definitely working behind the scenes to make sure GPT continues to be the rhythm and the heartbeat of the region. On that note, I see my friend, Mr. Lopez. You're going to speak for, no? Oh! What's his name? Here, I did that. Pardon me. I'm sorry. Come on. That's what he does. What can I say? He comes on in. My friend, my Congressman Frank Revenge.
I want to, of course, thank the mayor. I want to thank Denise. I want to thank GPTC and the Transportation Board. This is a great day for the city of Gary because we're talking about a collaborative effort. And the end result of all of this, when we talk about transportation and opening up for transportation and the vision that the mayor and the city council has, is it opens up opportunity for not only Gary, Indiana and the residents, but for Northwest Indiana. Connecting to and making ourselves available to the third largest economy in the United States allows for opportunity. It allows for that single mother who is challenged by the cost of transportation and parking in the city to have a job and be able to affordably get back and forth and to be able to spend time with her family. It allows for that father to be able to go back and forth and to open up people coming to our community from other places, to be able to establish this as the anchor of economic development, which will further enhance Northwest Indiana. So as a member of Congress, I'm proud to have delivered on the American Rescue Plan that gave dollars to the city of Gary to decide on projects such as this. I'm proud to work with the mayor consistently on this project as an anchor for the city in Northwest Indiana and the city council. And so we will continue forward with the mission of all stakeholders walking arm in arm in conjunction with each other, saying Gary is open for greatness and we want the world to see. And so if we do that together with a positive attitude and being able to deliver these results, the residents of Gary will have greater opportunities and Northwest Indiana. I thank you all very much for allowing me this opportunity to be here, and let us not only let this be a celebration, but a beginning of working for a better Gary and Northwest Indiana. Thank you.
Congressman Van is always so humble, and he's just apologizing for being late. And I said, no, we're just happy you put it in your schedule. So we appreciate that. As we move forward, and we are in great time, so we might give you some time back, which I know all of you will appreciate. But we are going to move over to another introduction, and that is, as we talked about from the very beginning, you've got to have a great team. Well, I've been honored as the interim general manager. The boards had to make a selection, and the leader of that board was the board president, Stephanie Hewitt. And so I am going to ask her to come to the mic and to take a minute.
Good morning, Gary. Good morning, Gary. I just have to tell you that I am so proud to be a citizen of Gary. I was born and raised in St. Louis, and I had to come to Chicago for a job, and we elected to come to Gary to live. I've been here since 1982, and I am so hippopotamus happy that I landed here in Gary, Indiana. To my honorable mayor, whom I serve as the president of this board, and to my great board members. Board members, would you please stand up? And we have a wonderfully blessed attorney, and they are here. This is diligence. This is commitment, because we don't really get paid. We get a stipend, but whenever we call, they're there. And I am so blessed to be able to work with them. I also would like to say that the Adam Benjamin Metro Center is 40 years old now. 40 years old. And it still continues to be the crossroad for the Midwest, and that's Gary, Indiana. Now, coming from St. Louis, the Gateway Arch, that was it to the south. But now I've got a new gateway arch, and that's Gary, Indiana. Economically, GPTC is striving to help and assist the transportation industry here in Northwest Indiana, not just Gary. And as a board member and a servant, and that's what our board is, they are servants. And we work with a wonderful team of Gary Public Transportation. Will our executives please stand? I think I see Dion, I see Mr. Kane, I see Mr. Freddie, I see Dion, and we thank you so much, because without their assistance, this would not have happened. Greyhound, I think I've expressed to you personally how happy we are that you're here in Gary. And we want to continue this relationship and this partnership. I'd like to also thank Levita Sparks Wade and the Parks Department, because they worked very, very hard, and General Services, in making this such a beautiful venue for us to have this press conference. And last but not least, my mayor and the City Council of Gary. We thank you so much. And all of the citizens who came out today, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Hewlett. So I don't know that anyone else has come in, so I'm going to go to my ending here a little bit. Excuse me. So two of the issues we want to make sure you leave here with. Yes, thank you, Greyhound. Your existing partnership, your growth is an evidence of what good community, citizen, and corporate community citizenship looks like. You know, you don't just come to the table with an appetite. You bring something to eat. And we definitely know that that's what you did. So we definitely thank you for that. Moving forward, it's also about you seeing that Gary is looking at its existing partners. Yes, we're in business. We're trying to bring new business always. But we don't want to ignore the partners that have been here, that have made an investment and they stayed, even in the hardest of times. So circling back and saying, hey, what have we done lately? You know, what are we doing lately? What have you done for me lately? That's okay. That is okay. And we did that. And when we started this conversation 1 year ago, October the 5th. So it has taken us 1 year, but we implemented. We didn't just talk it. We didn't just talk it. And so I'm very, very happy for all of the partners who took a lot of energy getting things to City Hall and making sure everybody was on the same page and getting it back to Greyhound. Yes, Mr. Nunez, well, I'm just getting your last name right. You know, we were doing that for a few months. But indeed, it has been worth the wait. So I do thank you for that. The expansion, you've heard a couple of people speak to. This isn't about just Gary by any means. This is definitely, if you're looking at surface transit, that's us. Yes, we've got rail, we've got water, we've got air, and those are great ways to get to an area. But connectivity is surface transit. Once you get off that train, that plane, that boat, you need to get on a bus. Okay? You need to get on a bus, Gus. And it ain't that hard to do, and we need to keep it moving. All right? So it is very imperative that we train, teach, educate, make aware the citizens of Gary, the professionals in Gary. You think if you have a car, you don't need to ride a bus. Oh, contraire. So we have days coming up this week that we're actually challenged. Leave your car at home and catch the bus. See what it feels like to get around and don't have to park. Getting off in front of where you want to be. Or close enough to walk comfortably, look at your Apple or whatever and see how many miles and steps you took today. So those are the things that we want to continue emphasizing, is that part of our growth. That part of our growth is an education to why surface transit is important. Nobody should be second guessing whether they should invest in surface transit. Because without a bus system, you are going to miss the economic growth that we could have across our region. And we have to do that in all of our areas. I understand that there are times when one may outweigh another one in terms of dollars, maybe even in terms of importance. But trust me, when all the glamour is over, you're going to need a bus. You're going to need a bus. And so we are very aggressive in talking to a number of our potential funders to ensure that you understand that. I want to say thank you to some of our civic partners. Certainly Urban League, NAACP, Gary Chamber of Commerce. And I mentioned there's others, but those three have been very much with us since the beginning. They have come to workshops, they've sponsored workshops. I want to give some shout out to the Legacy Foundation. They gave us a grant. How about that? Yes. Thank you, Kelly Anna. We appreciate you. Kelly has looked out for Gary in many ways, and we know that. So we see you. We like that. Thank you. We have some other people here, obviously from the press, that you come diligently, and we thank you for that. I feel like Romper Room. I see Chelsea. I see Cherise. Yeah, but we thank you for that, because indeed, getting the message out is as important as accomplishing the task. If nobody knows what you're doing, it's still invisible. It's still invisible. So we are very pleased this day to be live. Yay! From a number of different places. Thank you, Erica. Thank you, Chelsea, and anybody else who's doing live. Appreciate you. But we are definitely excited about this expansion. We want to talk a minute about some health equity issues. And I'll tell you why. Because one of the things that we've been approached with and by, which the mayor and I and his team will have to talk more about, is EPA. EPA has asked transportation to play a role in some of these new grants that are coming in, and they want to know what is our role in some of this. And why is that? Because on a health equity issue, we're one of the highest in ranking for asthma. Asthma and respiratory disease is chronic in Northwest Indiana, and we have some of the highest numbers, not just in the state, but in the country. So we want to make sure that as we're looking at electric buses, as we're looking at alternative routes, we want to make sure that those are effective, not just having buses on the road, but having routes that get people to where they want to go. And everybody isn't trying to get a bus because they're underserved. They're trying to get a bus because it's a better way of moving around. So don't single it out or categorize it. It is important that we educate everyone. We're working with the school district on looking at how we can help their attendance issue by maybe the child misses the school bus, but we can get them on a bus, on a route that'll get them to their school. So you can miss one class, you don't have to miss the day. And a lot of parents, it's not their fault that they don't have transportation. But we need to help them understand how to use what we've got. And if we need to reroute, we're willing to do that. We're able to do that, but we've got to know the need of the community to make it happen. So these are very important areas as we continue to explore the opportunities, be thankful for the gifts that are given, and continue to work collectively and in a partnership of getting it done. With that said, I will leave on this note. I'm giving you a lot of time back. But I would ask the press that if you'd like to talk to any of the speakers today, stay behind so you can get your questions answered. They're willing to do that, but they don't want necessarily a public question and answer. So we appreciate your cooperation in that. But moving forward, Gary, Indiana, Northwest Indiana, the region, we are truly on the move, and it can't happen without you. We thank you. Please continue to keep it in prayer and keep going forward. God bless you.